Hello everybody, this is Jules. It's my first video, so welcome to my channel. As a local, but I consider myself a local, why not, right? From Spain. I live in Spain currently, and I would like to kind of tell those travelers, adventurers, and just curious people about cultures, about Spain and just different aspects and just traveling, and not only Spain, but the countries I've traveled, because I've been a traveler. I love traveling. I love cultures. So I wanted to share that because it's different from a local point of view that can give you hints or, you know, different areas. And I'm not exactly a local because I wasn't born in Spain, but I was born in Colombia and I lived in the States for a few years, and that's where I learned to speak English. Not perfect English, so sorry if you hear something weird once in a while, but I try my best. So we will start out with the places that are probably not as typical as my place, which is where I live. I mean, it's Galicia. It's called Galicia. Why? Because, you know, it's a small it's, you know, it's like the state would be Galicia. It's a small state considering from other, you know, others from other countries, and it has a charm. It has a specific field kind of charm, and I wanted to give that out, and, you know, just make it known, because people usually go to Barcelona, Madrid, and all these other cool places, which I found them fascinating because I love going to Barcelona myself, and it has, I mean, it's a great place to go, so we will touch that in another video, I suppose. But I wanted to tell you about Galicia for those who maybe just want to have, like, you know, the typical trip where you're like, man, I need to just zoom out, I need to get out of this place, I need to get out of this city, I need to wrap my thoughts around and just get in touch with myself. Galicia is like the perfect place for you because it's very calm, people are very generous, you know, they're very kind, and they're very conservative though, and it's not as easy for them to open up, but once they open up, they're amazing people. And so yeah, the known places here in Galicia are Coruna, which is a very kind of trendy city because it's where, I don't know if you've heard Inditex, which is the group that owns Stradivarius, Zara, Pull&Bear, Bershka, and all these brands, clothing brands. So the fact, like, the base is in Coruna. It's very known worldwide, in case you didn't know. Inditex is the group, the name of the group. So yeah, of course, if a lot of people work there's a lot of, like, trendy going on. People dress up all, you know, fashionable, kind of forward, not fashion forward, but, you know, like trendy and what's on and in per se. It's like it's a cool place. It's a cool city. There's culture. There's sea. It has sea. It's very humid though, so be aware of that, because if you come in during the winter, you might have that in mind, because Galicia in general is pretty humid, and I've heard from people from other countries that probably go below 0 Celsius. Oh, by the way, we're always going to talk in international degrees and international everything units, because it's international, guys. Come on. So for those who come from places where they go below 0 and you come here, you might experience a slightly weird sensation because it's a lot less colder. Like, it doesn't go lower than 0, depending if you're little towns tend to be more, I mean, colder, but usually just the sensation is colder because of the humidity. Humidity sucks because no matter how much you cover yourself, it's there. It's like touching your skin. The cold little molecules of water are touching your skin. So I've heard a lot of people saying like, yeah, it's a kind of uncomfortable cold, especially if you're like if it's beside the seaside. You know, it's just, it is what it is. So depending on the city, right now I'm in a city called Ourense. It's an interior, does not have sea, but it's known for the hot springs, pretty much. And you know, the surroundings are nice. There are some mountains. It's like a, not a valley, but you know, all Galicia has mountains. It's all mountains everywhere. And Ourense is like the whole of Galicia where there are no mountains. I mean, there are mountains, but you know, compared to the rest, is like the whole. And so there's a microclimate. So during the summer it's super hot, like extremely hot. Is the hottest sometimes of all the country, or Galicia in general. It's really dry hot because it's in its interior, does not have sea. And yeah, during the winter it's super cold. It's just extremely cold as it is right now. And that's it. Cool springs. I might put in some pictures maybe to look, just so you know what it is and you'll check it out, or just I'll put the description and just the link of, you know, the web pages that might have, you know, the info for the hot springs in case you find it interesting. There are free hot springs, and then you can pay for, you know, there are other ones where you pay. The free ones, I mean, why not? They're cool. They're free and they're, you know, pretty good. The bad thing is that you have to, like, if you go, I don't know, after you go party, say you get out of partying at 4 in the morning. That's early for Spain, by the way. And you want to go and head out to the springs and have a relaxing night. And, you know, in the really hot water. It's cool, but, you know, if it's cold, depending on the weather, you are going to have to change, you know, outside. Or, I mean, there are little, like, you know, you can buy things, but of course at night it's closed. So if you go at night, you have to change, like, in the open air, if it's cold or whatever. And if it's during the day, it's the bathrooms are open and the places, you know, the cafeteria and all that is open. So yeah, you might consider that. It's really fun when you go at night because you can drink and, you know, have a good time with your friends and play music. It's no problem at all. It's like kind of a little bit outside of the city, but not too much, you know. It's pretty cool. It's a relaxing experience, and it's fun. I've done it with some friends, and it's cool. And, you know, I really don't go there as often anymore because, you know, I've been there quite a lot of times. So I just go there whenever somebody comes to visit, so they know it, and it's, you know, it's just an experience. It's a chill out moment. People usually like it. Then we have Vigo, which is south of Galicia, southwest, and it has sea. It has a surfing culture as well. It has a surfing school. I think there are championships and festivals or something like that. It's a warm place to go during the summer. Like, everybody goes there. People from Ourense and around go to Vigo because it's like the warmest, and the water is not as cold as the north of Galicia. But if you're a surf lover, you might go north, because the north is where the best waves are, because the sea is tougher and more aggressive. So yeah, and there are amazing landscapes up north. So many, you know, rocks, huge rocks and hills, and just this amazing background. This is where the most famous bench is, and I already have a picture there, and it was amazing. It's really amazing views. And yeah, so we're talking about Vigo. What else does Vigo have? Just in general, has Seas Islands. Well, in English you might pronounce them seas maybe, but in Spanish it's Seas. I've never been there, but people say they're just beyond amazing, beautiful. The scenario, you go camping there. There are nobody lives there. It's a virgin island. Only, you know, people work there to maintain the island, but people love it. The water is extremely cold, so keep that in mind. I think there might be a nude beach where people just go naked and just chill out there. I'm not sure. I think I've heard of it. And it's right like in front of Vigo. You take a little kind of ship, like catamaran, is that the name of it? And you know, pay like, I don't know if it's 14 euros maybe, go and, you know, go and return. And yeah, okay. Sanxenxo, as in Galicia, is San Jorge. Is this place? It has beach, it has a lot of tourism. It's very known for Galicians, especially because there's quite a lot of party as well. There's good vibe, young vibe, and yeah, quite a lot of partying. So it gets really crowded. It's the most crowded, well, this is one of the most crowded beaches in Galicia, because the other one is in Vigo, because sometimes Portuguese come, because it's right on the frontier with Portugal, so Portuguese come here a lot. I mean, to Vigo. This place is called, well, I'll write it down. And yeah, it gets really crowded. This and Sanxenxo is one of the most crowded beaches, and so you have that in mind. Both beaches are very family, and there's all types of people. So if you want to probably choose, if there was an option maybe to choose from, you know, the beaches, I think Sanxenxo has more of a party vibe than this part of Vigo. Then if you go up north a little bit, I guess, it's Santiago de Compostela, which is the capital of Galicia, and it's the capital, but it's not that, it doesn't have that capital vibe, but it's quite a cozy place. People are very warm, they speak mostly Galician. It has, you know, interesting stores. There's quite some interesting buildings to see. There's this called Ciudad de la Cultura, which is the culture city. It's just a really remarkable architecture piece to look at. I'm not an architecture fan or specialist, so I wouldn't be able to tell you the right words, but it kind of tries to mimic the mountains, you know, the scenario, because this is what it identifies Galicia the most, the mountains and everything. So it does kind of mimic that. It's quite an interesting architectural place to go and visit. And there's it's a bit higher than the city, so it might be windy. Depends on the time you go. There's Santiago. I mean, there are a lot of students, you know, foreigner students, exchange students in the city. There are a lot of tourists visiting because of the Santiago Way, or El Camino de Santiago, sorry, the Way. It's known as the Way. There's actually a movie if you want to take a look at it. I'm not sure if it's called The Way. I might search for it and tell you, or write it down for you if you want to see it. As I was saying, it's quite an interesting, I think it's a very cool culture or activity to do. I mean, I'm not a very traditional person. I'm quite like an open kind of risky, go new and modern kind of person, but of course we all keep in mind, you know, cultures and traditions. There are traditions that keep us, like, that just identify us and we like. This, I think I find this activity very nice, because even though I don't like hiking for that long, because people tend to do it for days, walking days and days, or biking. Sometimes people use their bikes as well. I'm not a huge fan of hiking, sorry for that, but I find it very healthy because people tend to lose weight, and you know, it's a good thing, why not, right? So it has different ways or different routes. It can be from Germany, from France, from Portugal, and there's another route that just crosses like the country. So you begin and you just sleep in these little hostels that are designated especially for pilgrims. The people who do the way are called pilgrims, by the way. and they just live there. It's very affordable. It's a good quantity, and you have your little paper and they'll seal it. They'll put a stamp on it saying you came through this, hostel, which they're like designated hostels for pilgrims. So you, at the end of the way, when you get to Santiago de Compostela, in the Plaza de Obradores, which is where the cathedral is. It's an amazing cathedral, a lot of history, interesting. You should go there. And so you get there, and there's this place where you go and they stamp, like the final stamp that you made it, and you feel like, yeah, I made it. I suppose so. I wouldn't be able to tell because I've known quite a few people who've done it, and they love it. They love it. They say they'll repeat it, and because they make so much contact with themselves. It's so much time and kind of silence and kind of get in touch with you. Just maybe sometimes these are the kind of trips or activities that you would do when you're like deciding things in your life, or you're in a reflective moment of your life, or you're kind of lost, or so many things happen to you that you don't know what to do. Just like a get in touch with you kind of activity. And you get to know a lot of people on the way from all sorts of places and countries. You'll be surprised. And ages, don't mind me saying, but I mean, I've known people who are like maybe retire. A lot of people who are retired from Germany. I've seen a lot of Germans, French, and English people, and Irish people as well, doing it. And it's just, I think I would do it if I would retire, probably, because it's a very nice thing to do with your partner. Why not? And then you just meet a lot of people, and you get to know so much from yourself and others, of course. I actually have a friend who is thinking about doing it, so I hope he comes soon. He says he was going to do it this year, 2017, so I'm looking forward to see him. Hope if you're seeing this video, I'm looking forward to see you. Well, in Santiago, since there's a lot of history, a lot of Baroque, and this Renaissance kind of vibe, romanticism, and illustrate. Well, there's a lot of history. There's this hostel right in front of the cathedral, like diagonally per se, and it's called Hostel of the Kings, but it has nothing to do with the hostel. It's super expensive, and it's just a really traditional place to be in, and it's very fancy, but fancy in like a very classical way, very Baroque way. So it's very interesting what you see and all the furniture and everything, because you're like back in the, I don't know, early 1800s. But it's really expensive, and it's quite a tradition. I mean, the kings, I think they go there to sleep or something because it's a tradition, but it's not as expensive as other places. I mean, I think, if I'm not wrong, you might find something for 200 or 300 euros. I'm not sure, but yeah. Ferrol is a small city that belongs to the province of Coruna, but is not that interesting per se, touristically speaking. But it has a lot of historical, military background, if you're into that, because the dictator of Spain was born there, so you might imagine. It has like 2 castles, and it has sea. It's surrounded by the sea practically. There are quite a few beaches, and they're amazing during the summer. Like, if you go there, you will just love it. They have like amazing views, and it's where the most famous bench is a little town called Loiba. I'm gonna write down everything because I know it's in Spanish, so you might be like, how does it sound? So I'm gonna write it down for you to know. So yeah, what Ferrol has interesting is during the summer. If you go to Ferrol, go during the summer. In general, if you come to Galicia, it's just better to come in during the summer. And one thing is just is a very cheap option if you are planning to spend, like, I don't know, a year or 6 months or whatever in like a rural, in the field or in the country, or just in a calm place. I think Galicia is perfect for you because it's very cheap in general compared to the other or the rest of the country. And yeah, I was saying, just wrapping this up, Ferrol, it's a very small city and has so many beautiful sightseeing and little towns around and all these beaches. A lot of surfing culture, a lot of it. There's a surfing school as well. The cold is extreme. The water, sorry, the sea is extremely cold. It's the coldest because it's up north. So you might have that in mind. Because I'm Colombian, yo, I cannot deal with it. I mean, I barely can deal with it. I mean, in order to get into the water when it's like 30 degrees outside, Celsius, and you're super hot, but then you get into the water and literally your feet hurt. So I don't know if you're into that, if you are not, if you don't mind, if you use neoprene to do surfing, whatever. Just have it in mind. People just usually just go tanning. That's what people do, so you know, they just fresh up a little bit. And depending on the parts of the beach, some areas are colder than others. And as I told you, the south of Galicia, the water is a lot less colder than the north. You can tell the difference. Although in the city there's a route of little buildings, not built little, but they're buildings like modernistic buildings of Art Deco, and they're very interesting to see. It's a little route, so if you're into that, you should take a look at it. Other than that, it's just sightseeing, nature, hiking, mountains. And there's Lugo. I don't know much about Lugo. It's a really normal city. There's this party, you know, like the local festive party that they have is Sanxenxo or something like that. It's really fun because it's full of people, a lot of activities during the night. I think there are a few nights, a lot of partying, a lot of people, young people, all sorts of ages. It's also like a medium to small size city and very cold, very, very cold. It snows. For example, in Ourense, you might find little towns where it snows, but just rarely, not even a thick amount or a thick layer. It's just, you know, I don't know, maybe like this at the most. And then there's a place where you can go skiing. It's called Manzanera in Ourense, and I don't know how far from here it is, but it's probably a couple of hours away, or if not more, from the capital, from Ourense city. Because as I told you, there are like provinces, and like the state is Galicia. Then it has provinces, and the provinces are Lugo, Pontevedra, Coruna, Ourense, and then they have capitals. The capital of province of Ourense is Ourense, the province of Pontevedra is Vigo, the province of Coruna is Santiago, and the province of Lugo, the capital of Lugo is Lugo. And then it has just little cities and little towns. So I'm talking about most of the cities where, you know, the movement is in. I think I'm gonna wrap this up. This is, I think, everything for today. I hope you like it. I hope you find it handy. If you want to do some different vacations and research with your families, it's a good family trip. Or if you're doing surfing, I've found quite a few travelers who just get a van, just travel around Europe or around Spain, and they really enjoy Galicia for the cheapness and how calm, and people are so respectful. So I mean, it's so secure. I mean, you have no problem with security. Actually, the other day I found out I had my car open a whole freaking night. I mean, it got wet inside, but it was just how I left it. They nobody took anything. The door was actually not even closed. The door was actually a little like this open. And when I saw it, I was like, did I do this? Oh, somebody robbed me. And then I got in and everything was, you know, how I left it, and I was like, damn. I have a very bad memory, or I just, you know, my head is not always where it's supposed to be. But I was like, man, this place is really safe. That was actually in Ferrol. So just, by the way, if you want to have that in mind, it's a good thing to have in mind. It's It's really nice. Compared to other places like Madrid and Barcelona are the places where they steal the most. So, you know, a lot of pickpocket and all that. It's what I hate the most, but I mean, you can't compare, right? So that was it for today, guys. I hope you like it, and if you liked it, well, you can just click the like and just write the comments below if you want me to do another video, or what kind of videos or places. But I will be uploading in the meantime cities from Spain and just places, not all of them, because why do all of them unless you want to know about a specific place. I might do it, but overall I'm just gonna begin with the most known per se, or interesting places, or places that have something, you know, different. I hope it helps you. Goodbye.